So in this video, I'm going to take you through how we helped Alex increase his client's capacity by 30%. Alex is the Executive Creative Director at Shock Creative. And on the top right here is some of the visuals that we've created with his company, such as DHL, a Dutch company called Fullscape with natural gummies. And you might have heard of Tiger Balm. And actually what we would do is he would have the concepts, have the ideas, and then we would help to visualize the ideas, execute those ideas, and make them in the different formats that he needs. And some of the results we've actually got with him now, it's been over 5 years we've worked with him, is 4 times more creative output. And as you see up here in his quote, I always thought you were like my in-house designers, you do twice the work in half the time. And that has actually helped him get 30% more client capacity, but also 40% cheaper per deliverable than the in-house designers. And on the right, you see his review on Trustpilot. He talks about some of his struggles. For example, finding consistent creative was always a struggle because he had to work with different freelancers, meaning constant rebriefing, moving files around, more project management, more lost time and money. But, since working with us is been quite huge, because we can do twice the work in half the time, he increased his client capacity by 20 to 30%. And he actually always thinks of us as his own in-house design team, but flexible. So, we're there when we need him. We understand how he works and who his clients are. For example, H&M, DHL, Tiger Balm, a Dutch company called Leander. And it's been a huge difference. And on the left-hand side, you can actually see the testimonial. And basically, he talks about the same kind of idea, working with us and his struggles and the results and outcome he has come to while working with us, which I will leave at the end of the video. So just to quickly also go through some of the campaign outcomes, it's not just about the design that's important and being able to execute quickly, but it's also important that the design performs. And with the campaigns, we've had a lot of successes, 150% sales target for Fullscape, 1 million app downloads in 6 weeks for DHL, 21% increase in growth in green label shopping for H&M, and 30% increase in Instagram engagement with a 12 to 17% benchmark for Tiger Balm. So it's very important for us as Fullscape that not only that the design is good, that it's quick, but it also performs well, which is very important. So one of the problem that he actually came with us is that at the time he was juggling different freelancers, for every campaign. So this meant that there was always constant rebriefing, there was no continuity, and the files were scattered, files would be moved around, you would have to go back to another freelancer to pass it to another freelancer. And in turn, he was actually turning down campaign work because it was not structured properly, that they couldn't increase that client capacity as we had done. And so the freelancers, in turn were meant to save time, but actually they were costing him time and they were costing him money. So what we actually did, we actually became his, Shock's white label production partner and creative partner. And what we did was implemented a process before beginning work on how to actually increase that productivity time and also execute the work properly. And, Alex would hand over the approved concept, the key visual, and then we would visualize with him and then scale across every format or channel. So there was only one briefing at the beginning. And so no briefing each time and no challenging creative direction, no need to check every asset. In Alex's own words, his own in-house designers, we were flexible, we were always there. And we didn't act as just an outsourced vendor. We actually became an extension of his vision and his team that understands his brand, that understands his clients. And that's what we find that's very important to do, is that we become more than just an external source, but we actually understand who you are and who your agency is. So the results in the end was, 20 to 30% more campaign work handled on top of their own in-house team. As he said, twice the work in half the time, 4 times the value per euro spent compared to hiring in-house, 40% cheaper deliverable. And we work with some really great companies such as H&M, DHL, Tiger Balm, Ravensbake. So it's been really beneficial work of him. But he now trusts that we can handle the work and then we execute it quickly, but also make sure that the design is top quality. And just after this, I'm going to leave the testimonial of Alex just talking about from beginning and to the outcome and how he succeeded with us. And I'll see you in the next one.
Hi, my name is Alex Cosman. I'm creative director at Shock, Dutch agency based in Amsterdam. And Jordan Neal asked me to do this review. And I didn't really want to do it because now I have to share it with you guys. So I didn't want to do it. But here it goes. They're very good, great quality, always on brief, fast. And also they know the clients. They always want to know the client. And they help me really scale up my creative designs with our clients up to at least 20%. So they're also very fast, like I mentioned. We work together on many clients, DHL, Unilever, also H&M. And they know how to work with big brands, but also with smaller brands. So hire those guys. I could really, really recommend those guys. Cheers.